Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the RC Barn. Definitely spent some time cleaning the shop up after the workbench rebuild. Yep, got a project on there already. That'll probably be a future episode. Not going to reveal anything today yet. So, anyways, today I just thought I'd show you a few things here. Let's see here. I'm already humming around. We did get the sticker done for the Ultra Sport 80. I think that turned out pretty nice. You can see my wrinkles. That's the silver. I have not shrink this monocoat down yet. That's why you're seeing all the wrinkles that you can in there. But wanted to cover a couple of things with this. Some things that I left out. You should, like I said, this sat on here for 24 hours over the weekend, and then I went ahead and hit this with some heat, and I adjusted my heat settings a little bit at a time, just to bring up the heat to where monocoat likes to adhere at with the glue. So what you need to do here is let it sit after you get your monocoat on there, and that way you can, after you're done moving around, squeegee it out with a paper towel. So I got a paper towel right here. You squeegee it out, and that way it'll sit, and you can adjust it as necessary. I'm not too worried about, I got a couple things off a little bit, but I think she turned out pretty good. There was a couple things guy was telling me to cover that I didn't cover in the video. Anyhow, oh yeah, the glass. So this has been sitting here since the day I posted the video with it. And when you Windex it down to a glass like this, it'll stick, but you can still pick it up. See, I'll show you here. See, it'll still pick up if you work at it a little bit. It doesn't actually take the glue away. So it just makes it, I don't know, it's almost like a static clean to the glass. That's why you use glass. So anyhow, there's that. I did have a couple of mistakes, so I had to make a few little pieces here and there to kind of to fill in the 80. Those things kind of slipped and fell away. I don't know what happened to them. Anyways, there's that. Hope you guys like that. I'm only going to do it on the one side. I think this will be good enough for what I'm going to be doing with this airplane. I did get the motor installed also. I have not glued my hinges in yet. You can see here that we got the NU80X in there. That's why it's called the Ultra Sport 80 and not the Ultra Sport 60, because it's got an 80 in it. That's not my choice. That was the original builder's choice. I kind of stuck with it. I did go ahead and I got some new field tubing ran in here. This is going to be from my pipe. The nipple will be way back here somewhere. So I'll put a curve in this and then run some fuel line back to it for my pressure. Works pretty good. So I got to pick up some tuned pipe coupler. One that I took off there basically fell out in my hands. And I got a new addition to the shop also. So there's that. That's the update on the fuselage. So we're not too far away from being completed again. But here's the new update. So I guess I need to get a better camera view angle. So instead of going out in a tripod, I do like to resource what I have. So this was an old light. I showed this before in another video, but I didn't like the light. Didn't work too well. So we took the light off, went ahead and modified the plate to accept the piece of plywood, and that's where my phone's going to land to videotape everything. So that's decided that we're going to try that instead of buying a tripod, because I can do lots of views with that, lots of different photo angles. So today's episode, stripping a wing down. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to strip this wing down, take everything off of it, pull the servo, pull the landing gear, and strip all the covering out. So I'm going to go through some different techniques for doing that. Some I've used, some I haven't. So we'll get into that here in a second. And now that we got you set up on the camera here, hopefully that's a better angle. I'm going to go ahead and remove the servo. Like I said, I really like these servo screws here because of this simple fact that you can use a ball link. My buddy's probably laughing right now the one that turned me on to this stuff. Yeah, that looks pretty nice right there, doesn't it? I guess I could probably time lapse this part. It's important to, you know, when you're stripping them all down like this, to make sure you get everything get everything off of it. Oh, I remember now. Take that out. Move that around. Been a few years since I put the plane together. Probably change that. I don't like that servo with all the options. I'm also going to redo these wired landing gears. They are a little, I don't know, while they look cool, they do work. They got springs in them. They're a little weak and they like to turn, especially on grass landing strips. So I got some wire over there, and I am going to bend up some wire for it. I like them to be just a tad bit, I like the wire to be, I think you're going to be a tad bit taller. And then also you can see they flex under the load pretty good. And they just come down to here. So it's not like, you know, these are, I don't know if you can see that or not. There's a spring in there. Yeah, they're quite stiff. I don't like them. So one thing I don't like, that never did like about this plane was the landing gear. So I got some new, like I said, I got some new wire. I'll bend some new gear to match these, and then probably add about a 1/2 inch of ground clearance to it. With that big prop that it has on there, it does like to cut grass when the grass is a little on the long side. I almost wish there was a way to add brakes to a tail dragger. Probably could, but just not have it flip over. When I'm flying out at the AMA on a paved runway, it comes in pretty hot, but as I was saying, I think I probably can't, I don't remember what I was talking about anyways. Now strip down. Now the whole reason for this strip down was because, well, frankly, it was falling off. So this is one technique that I like to do a lot, especially on open areas, and that's just simply pull it off. And And you'll see why there was so much black. Because see, the covering is so old that the clear coat, I don't know if you can see that or not. The clear coat is literally peeling off and leaving the covering behind. So that's what we got the heat gun for. So, the heat gun, you can use it to tighten material up, but you can also use it to loosen the glue up underneath. Now this shit, I mean, this stuff it's old. It doesn't take much to get some heat in it. Just gonna move it around here a little bit. And this is where you want to work a little on the fast side. Let's see, look at that. Most of it will peel right up. And that's already lost its heat. Check that out. That's coming off. Really nice. The other thing they have nearby is a garbage can that I forgot to grab. So, this works. It works pretty good. This is a good technique to use, especially if you do have a heat gun. And if you don't have a heat gun, technique number 2 is just get it off the best you can. Black is the absolute worst covering to strip off because it does this. I've never seen another color do that like black does. Then we can delve into it a little bit and see how this, so he covered this in black and the pink is trim. So that's one technique to do. I'll probably do that on the entirety of this. The other technique is get you some Scotch tape or packing tape, whatever you want, and lay it down on your balsa, like so. You know, wherever you want to remove, you know, especially this kind of pigment here. And I think that, yep, I forgot a pair of scissors. Try to think as much through as you possibly can, but sometimes you just gotta forget stuff. Cut it, pull that over so we don't lose our end here because this stuff disappears. I don't do this as much. When I get areas like that, I'll sand them or whatnot. This doesn't need a lot of sanding. Anyways, heat it back up. And then pull. And then throw away. That's why I don't like it, because you throw so much tape away. So anyways, there's that. You can do that. You can also, like these bigger areas, you can layer it. And if you layer it, like I'm overlapping here a little bit. Like that. And again, heat is your friend. Get some heat. That's pigment attached to glue is what you're dealing with here. Get some good heat in there. And that doesn't do a bad job. See? And again, throw away. So that's the gist of stripping an airplane down. Different colors do different things. Different coverings do different things. This is just for like monocoat. Ultra coat, in my opinion, works the same way. Most of your iron-on coverings are going to work in a lot of the same way. So, uh, you can, um, do those techniques with other planes. The older the covering, sometimes the worse it comes off, or sometimes the easiest way it comes off. Now on the fuselage, neither technique really worked well for me because it was just so caked on there from being out in the sun and the heat and everything. That's why you saw a lot of the black left over. So you also got to think, well, when you recover it, how are you going to recover? If you have a black airplane, it's probably not a good idea to go white. Stay with your darker colors. That's why this thing's going silver. I don't particularly care for black airplanes. While they look good for a while, it's hard to keep them shiny. I wax my planes with spray on wax a couple times a year to keep them looking good. And, that doesn't, black seems to fade away after a couple of years. So there's that. And so I'll go ahead and put this thing on time lapse, and we will, I'll finish stripping the wing down, and maybe you'll pick up on some of the techniques I'm using with the different scenarios I got. Okay, so as you can tell, some of it came right off. Look over there. And a lot of it didn't. Now, what you're seeing there is white. I mean, that's white covering right there. That's not balsa filler. That's not anything. This is one of the main reasons why I say that these fluorescent colors and black and some of your other colors, they should be trimmed colors, is because of this right here. Because if you ever got to recover this, and this stuff is just gooey, it's gooey. I mean, it's separated because of the heat and because of the color, and it fades. So anyways, I'm going to keep working on this. There's probably several hours of stripping here left to do. This side, not so bad. I got a little bit left to do on these corners, and I have to, I think these hinges are in pretty good shape. Let me do the pull test real quick. And I mean, something you always want to do on a used airplane also when you buy a used airplane that says it's ready to fly. Do a hinge pull. See how good the hinges are glued in. Tell you if it was built by a competent builder or not. These are glued in very well. I had the reason why I pulled the elevator and rudder off was because I had some damage on the rudder from the overshot runway or overextended runway there that ripped the tail wheel off, so I had to rebuild the rudder to begin with. So I decided to go ahead and do the elevator at the same time. And plus, this black was on the fuselage was about as bad as this pink is. fluorescent pink, whatever you want to call it. Anyhow, so there's my video on stripping an airplane down. You know, if you're going to do this, if you're going to tackle a project like this, which I would, you know, on some of these planes like this Great Plains Ultra Sport 60, they're getting, you know, new kits are getting extremely hard to find, and they are getting, you know, more rare as the years go by, the longer that they are out of production and they're not made. Now, granted, you can scratch build this plane, but there's also other alternatives like buying used airplanes. You can make them your own. You can fly them as is. You know, sometimes they're pretty good deals. I picked this up for a couple $100 with the motor, no servos. I flew it for 2 years, and I haven't done zero maintenance to it besides a few holes here and there in the covering that I've had to patch. You know, and granted, I put brand new servos in it, all new electronics in it, but you're probably going to want to do that anyways if you tackle a used project like an older project like this. No telling when this was built. You know, it was built very well. The center section's fiberglass. I already knew that was done just by looking at it. But the hinges are you know, these are pinned hinges from probably Dubro. Probably late 90 build, I would say, because of some of the techniques that were used, like these air-long linkages here. You know, that's you know, something that was pretty popular back in the 90s. So I would say that you know, a builder put a lot of thought and time, especially to be running an NU 80 on it with a tune pipe, especially as well built or as well tuned as that motor is, because yeah, wait till you hear that thing run. It starts right up. Sometimes you don't even need a starter, it'll pop flip, and usually not when it's fresh out of the barn for the season, but for the winter. But usually, and it flies. They're fantastic flying airplanes. They're you know, like a 60 size pattern ship that flies as good upside down as it does right side up, and spins, and if you like really fast airplanes, this is right up there. I'd be guessing at the speeds that are attained here, but anyhow, there's my video on stripping the wing down. I'm going to continue on the process here. There's not much here to work on. I'll probably do a video on bedding the landing gear here when I get to that point. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing stripped down. I'll strip the ailerons down also. I think, like I said, I think I'm pretty well decided. I'm going to leave them just right where they're at. If I break a hinge, it's not going to hurt the plane. It'll fly fine. To the point where I could come back in and do a repair later on. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed. If you're watching my videos, I appreciate it. Please like, comment, any questions you have. Like I said, I've been doing this a really long time. I've been around the block a few times. I do a lot of used planes, but I got some new builds also coming to the channel. So anyways, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you guys have a good evening.